on your way over, am I in frame right now?
You're a little bit to the right.
Okay, so you can come right here and be in it with me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Heavenly shades of night are falling. It's twilight time.
Damn it, why?
Oh, Arthur, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Is this really happening?
Like days of old.
We are an unusual couple, you know.
Oh, I don't think that was ever in question.
Should I close it? No, we'll be all right.
So what's up?
All right, so I want to get everybody's theories real quick. A, about the Wanda situation. Everybody kind of touched on it. And then B, about the Vision situation. There's kind of a little bit of contention about, is this Wanda within the town created this world, or is this Sword created the world?
Within the main video, like just watching it and hearing people's theories, I was kind of like enlightened, I guess, because I had a one-dimensional way of looking at it. From the very beginning, from seeing the intros and the promotional content and the photos and all the hints and everything, I was like, I don't know why, what is the WandaVision thing? And then to me it sounded a lot like a Fallout, like nuclear fallout kind of a deal, the WandaVision thing with the little logo and the little the antenna with the spark kind of deal. That whole thing for me felt like a Fallout from the video game series, if you guys are wondering. So I was like, is this like years and years into the future, and because we don't really know the extent of her powers, at least in the MCU, Vision is like artificial, or have they outlived everyone else? Like, my mind went nuts with it, and then I saw it and I was like, okay, very confused. But then we got to that, how I mentioned the whole dubstep moment where just like the bottom falls out and you're just like, it's not happy-go-lucky anymore.
Yeah.
It's really Twilight Zone, like, where, you know, everyone knows the truth but you kind of a feeling. I think that it's her dealing with her grief, because I felt that the whole Vision thing in the MCU was, I don't want to say it's cheap, but I definitely did not get the closure that maybe most of us wanted, because he was such a beloved character, you know, especially rewatching the movies. His voice so iconic, you know, the whole Jarvis thing, like, so the fact that his send-off was like up there with Black Widow's as far as like, I didn't get a closure with the character.
Not quite what we wanted. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I feel like it's her dealing with it, and it's like a great way of meta for the creators to say, well, here you guys go. Kind of like what they did in Walking Dead with, who was it, Beth? They died, people hated it, and then they were like, we're gonna bring her back in a flashback, all like, you know, just to get people to see her again in the character. So that may be where they're going. I think definitely Disney knows, obviously, what Kevin Feige knows exactly what he's gonna do. But I do like that it is a love letter to those shows. It does add to the confusion, as Jenna said, but everyone else's input, I didn't think of it. Mine was just straight up, this is her dealing with grief, and she's probably up to the denial phase, and then we're gonna see the destruction, like you said, kind of like a Dark Phoenix kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see all of that happening, which is why I think the show's doing well. My biggest thing was, if you're not an MCU fan, would you watch this? Like, for me,
it's a really good point.
I tried to like because someone asked me that in my live, and I was like, I even told them, I was like, dude, this is the greatest question ever, because I don't know. I'd like to say yes, because I'm nostalgia is a big thing for everyone as of late, and for me, I know it's a huge thing for me. You know, as I get older, I want to remember what I used to do that I don't get to do anymore because times change. You know, so I don't know if that was what their sole purpose was, but I do think it's going to kick off the MCU and give life to what's been laying dormant, not just because of COVID, but just because the MCU ended, so to speak, you know, the Infinity Saga at least. So I'm really curious, and I'm really interested, and I think those are two really good characters for it. That's pretty much it, man. Like, the limited series thing has me intrigued too.
Yeah, so we know that it's got a destination. It's gonna tie in, because they're not committing to more than that. Well, hell yeah, dude, good. Yeah. One last thing, is any part of the Vision still left, or is that just part of Wanda's subconscious?
I think, and I'm open to, obviously I would be happy that if it's not that, I'm not hoping it is, but I think it is her memories and the fact that both of their abilities, as far as the MCU goes, I know the comics are a little different, their powers are from the Infinity Stones. Now, if you look at it from base value, somebody who doesn't know what the Infinity Stones are, Infinity is a word that's very powerful and very easy to misuse because it means everlasting. So we don't know.
That's a good point.
You know, like it's like something we don't understand. It's like 20 years ago, if you would have said I could check my email, call you, text you, check the weather, tell it to tell me all these things on command, I'd have been like, you're crazy. That's 4042 technology, you know? So it's something that we don't understand as far as like the fandom goes. So possibilities are endless, you know? It could be her memories. It could be her trying to deal with the grief. It could be the fact that the stones have something to do with it. Or it very well could be that Vision just found a way to, because I mean, he what was he, consciousness to begin with?
Yes.
And who knows what happened. So I like that they reference Ultron, because Ultron's, as far as the MCU goes, I think he had a very short lifespan, kind of like Crossbones. I hate that Crossbones was in like, the opening of one movie and he's just gone. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. It is something that was really hard for us to cover because of all the spoilers, but I really, really want them to do it right and not just be a love letter to old kind of shows.
Yeah.
I want there to be a purpose, which I'm sure there will be.
We got a Jenna that just now showed up, and I actually really like Jenna's take. You got a second? You want to come talk to me about this stuff?
Wow, Jenna has appeared.
Yes.
I don't have anywhere to be.
I kind of liked your take on it.
I did
think
too,
that
actually.
was an interesting perspective and I was kind of wondering the same thing, because this is the first Marvel movie that's been on TV. So this is potentially opening up to a whole audience that never even went to theaters in the first place.
Well, and my thing the whole time with the 23 movies is that that's a big commitment.
It's a huge commitment.
I can see why people kind of jumping in with all these movies already out are like, I'm not willing to make that time commitment, or I'm just going to watch the last couple, and they don't understand that it doesn't have the gravity. The Endgame doesn't have the gravity that it would if you actually put all that time into it. So I'm hoping maybe this will kind of pull some people into saying, what's this about? This is interesting. It's kind of weird.
What do you
Maybe
think
I should
about,
put my time into it.
Okay, so the original Iron Man was 2008. It's been like close to 15 years now, 13 years. Who is WandaVision for? Is it for the kids that were too young when Iron Man came out? Is it for our parents' generation that didn't go to? I mean, like, because it's so nostalgic of this old stuff that we probably saw on Nick at Night as kids, but not stuff we were watching,
Yeah, I think it's for us. I think it's for the people that started in 2008 and have watched it I think it's for people that are in their 30s, 40s that have been invested in it, because we're the ones that have watched those shows that they're referring back to.
Right. Yeah.
Where like teenagers now won't really get the references.
They won't have where Stranger Things is very nostalgic of the 80s, which is actually when we were little kids. I don't know, but your perspective that Wanda has created this as opposed to Wanda being imprisoned in this thing, when you brought that up, like it makes sense to me. Do you think that she's existing in a physical space, like actually in that town, like Prime had said?
I think it's her mind.
I do too.
I think it's her mind, and what made me think, because I thought the whole time that she was trapped until she kicked Geraldine out, and then you see the dome, and then all the military style people with the lights and all that were outside the dome looking in. So I think it's her mind that they're trying to break into. I think she's in some sort of unconsciousness or like protective
That's what
state,
I was thinking.
and they're trying to introduce people in to bring her out or bring her back to reality.
They've
I
gotta-
think this is her like deep denial.
So they've got to slowly trigger memories of who she really is, but risk by doing it all too fast that there's going to be some sort of like massive consequence for it.
Yeah.
You know who Geraldine is?
She's the kid from Captain Marvel, right?
Which took place in the 90s. So this is taking place in present day, like literally in the timeline. Other question, is that Vision? Did part of his mind essence survive?
I think so, because he's consciousness, right?
Yeah.
So I think that he's always going to exist, but maybe not in that form. And I was confused, like at the beginning, the first episode, I kept thinking, did they time travel like Captain America did, and
To
like
that actual
live
era.
this other life while they're time traveling at the end of what we know as the MCU that's out now? And that's what I thought
Yeah.
until weird stuff started happening, like with the radio. I think that was my first clue of like, okay, this is not.
Who was that? That
know.
voice that's like, hey.
I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. You would think I'd
It's a
seen him
familiar
enough.
voice. I've heard, like, I feel like I've heard the voice, but they don't. They're too smart. They don't give it away enough.
It's not Steve. That's what it could. He would be the one person it couldn't be because he's old. So I'm like, is it Bucky? I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So do you like it? Are you
Yeah.
into it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt,
It's weird to be on this side of it where there's not more that you guys already know that we have out and available.
we're all on the same page
Yeah,
at this
like
point.
this
Yeah,
is the first
yeah.
time that we've all been in the same situation of I want to watch more and there isn't more yet.
Yeah. Come talk to me about this, Matt. Come talk to me about WandaVision for a second.
All right.
WandaVision.
Also, I feel like I made a stupid realization. I thought that WandaVision was just going to be about Wanda, and I realized that the name is Wanda and Vision.
But I think it's
together.
also a double meaning of this is all Wanda's visions.
Yeah.
Matt, you weren't necessarily vibing in the first episode. I don't think you were necessarily vibing in the second episode. Where are you at now?
Great question, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me.
No problem.
Is this going to the BTS?
Yeah.
Okay. Sitcoms, it's very difficult for me to get into sitcoms. Now, here's the deal. I respect, like, I Love Lucy. I respect, like, the OGs, like, that's started. But I had this feeling, I was like, holy crap, is this what it really is going to be? And then I was like, there's no way this is what it's going to be. So I was waiting for that part to drop, or like, at first I was like, oh, like, seriously, they're doing a TV show together now or something? I don't know. But I'll be honest with you, I understand they're building suspense. It makes total sense. But a piece of me is like, Jesus Christ, how much suspense are we going to build on this? But I think that's because MCU, it was a movie, it wasn't a show. I'm real ignorant with shows. You guys got to remember, like, a year and a half ago is when I really started watching movies for the first real time in my life, trying to be cultured. So shows are as foreign, if not more foreign, than movies are for me.
I don't love the sitcom as a genre either. Laugh tracks are annoying.
God,
I
I
feel
hate
like they like spoon feed stuff to you. Now, like you said, I did like Bewitched and I Love Lucy, but almost more like a
respect,
nostalgia kind of thing. Like, this has always been a thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's not like I'm gonna sit down and watch any of this stuff. So is that more off-putting than you're willing to embrace the little slow drip of suspense and the larger mystery?
Do you mean, am I willing to accept the slow drip because I know there's going to be one? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Like, I did have to consciously tell myself, like, you have to give this a chance. This is different. You have to give it a chance, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Now, if you told me this is what it is, like, has nothing to do with MCU, this is just a sitcom we're going to watch, I'd probably be shitting all over it by now. I probably would.
Go
I
ahead.
want to ask one question while you're on camera.
Speak up.
Which have you enjoyed more so far, Mando or WandaVision?
WandaVision all friggin' day.
Really?
Oh my god, yeah.
I feel like because Mandalorian is so much more straightforward, but in that sense, it doesn't really compel me to watch the next episode as much. That tease element of WandaVision is what keeps me coming back. Where Mandalorian, every single episode's another story, essentially. You know, there's not a whole lot of crossover. I asked Jenna, I asked Passer, and I know your stance on this. Nobody ever dies. Is that Vision's consciousness, sentient soul within Wanda, or is that part of her subconscious?
I think that's a part of her subconscious. I really do. Having said that, from a viewer standpoint, I'm not talking about her world, I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about for the user, for the viewer. You're sitting there and you were told that Vision's not coming back, and now you're seeing him again. I get the concept, the timeline, all that crap. It takes away the gravity again.
I see what you mean. Regardless of how they use him,
it's a different time.
He's still back.
I don't care about the timeline, all that. I get it. So it's like Tony Stark. I know you're shaking your head. You disagree. Here's the thing: when we see Tony Stark again, I'm gonna be pissed.
You're not.
I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, Steve Rogers is supposed to be coming back.
And that's what I'm saying.
annoying.
Like, so, like,
But he's not dead,
He didn't
so
die.
we don't know how, in fact, he'll be coming back.
Yeah.
That's what we were just talking about. I don't care.
I don't care the specific. What I'm saying is the death of a character is supposed to make you feel like, shit, that's it, man.
Lost.
I can't have it anymore. It's gone. And then when you introduce it again,
I will say this though: how do you feel about a very specific way of filmmaking or show making or whatever, where the characters, because of what happens in the world, they die a bunch of times, but then the show ends with them dying and literally are like, listen, that's it, and the end of the show is with them dying for real.
yeah, that gives you that gravity
Okay.
feeling.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Breaking
And
Bad.
Breaking Bad. That's it. It's done. He died. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. I get it from the point of continuing a franchise, from bringing in new generations. I respect all that. I get it, and I do feel better about it than if they're gonna like kill somebody in one episode and then very cheaply write them in the next. Like this, I respect a little bit because okay, it is her own universe and all that. Maybe it's your subconscious, whatever. I can respect that a little bit, but like we saw Killmonger get murdered on the mountain. If he comes back, how do you? I mean,
He's coming back.
you get what I'm saying? You probably don't, but that's how I feel.
No,
The viewers just now said that you've worn out your welcome. Get out of here. Come on, come on.
I was gonna say, that kind of makes sense because
Come on, say it
Killmonger, I
over
get
here.
it.
Hey, welcome Prime. You just now got here.
You look like you've been crying.
Left Vision
Yeah, I
behind. All right, what are you gonna say about Killmonger?
This is my mortal form. What I was going to add about Killmonger, that one I can see a little bit more because that whole ending was he chose to die.
Yeah.
Like, that was it. Like, he'd rather... Yeah, he chose it. I would kind of be a little hurt, too, about Tony coming back because he's gone, too, right? That was the whole purpose, not just in the movie itself, but also in a meta version of it, is that this was our salute and goodbye to
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. As our Tony Stark, as our Iron Man. So that one would be a little bit more impactful. I see it differently with the potential of Captain America. Well, Steve Rogers coming back because he was still alive. So I could see, like we talked earlier about, I could see him as old
I think that's valid.
Steve Rogers still being, because that would explain a little bit more, because that ending, it was like, how the hell did he get back?
Well, but Steve Rogers, but like he didn't show that he died, right?
Right.
No.
So yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
How would you feel, Matt, though, about being about seeing, like, let's say for some reason the next MCU movie, Spider-Man needs help with something, and Happy's like, here's this gigantic hard drive of in case you need help with, and it's just so much footage that it's just Robert Downey Jr. for like 45 minutes. How would you feel with that?
Well, that's kind of cool, because it'd be like what his father did to him,
Yeah.
where he's like, Tony, the technology of my time has me limited. That could have given Tony the idea of, well, and like he did for
To Edith,
his
even
daughter.
in death, I'm the hero.
Yeah. Well, and for his daughter too, there was that recording of him talking to her, and
So what do you think about that?
No, and it's a valid. I'm gonna just hop in
Yeah.
here with it.
Yeah.
So it's a valid question, and I get it. Like I get it that he's not alive. It's just footage. For my simple brain, like no, I'm not even gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Where I
It's
do
not
I do
your
that. I
simple
do that
brain.
comical piece of like this is my comical brain. But to me, the viewer, the experiencer, when Tony is dead, that is where it feels like that's like I have that feeling right now of like that's like I'm not gonna be able to see him, but I have that expectation. It makes the moments that I've seen with him so much more valuable. It makes that climactic moment where I was climbing out of that friggin' couch like holy shit, that
Yeah.
feels good.
I watched it the other day again.
it added
freaking
weight
out.
to Far From Home too, because it was you were kind of experiencing what Peter was going through too. It's just, I see his face everywhere.
Yeah.
Like he's gone, but yet I still have to look at him all the day and kind of live up to that image.
Yeah.
That
But in answer to your question of, if we found extra footage, I get it from a technicality standpoint. I guess technically you can pull that. Yes. Does it sort of... It still irks me because I'm seeing him, he's involved, it's the character, like it's... it bugs me a wee bit. Yeah.
I'm in that camp as well. I totally get where you're coming from. I felt like saying goodbye to Tony to bring him back in Far From Home was a little too close together. I felt like they could have maybe spaced that out a movie. When you just now said
They
that,
didn't bring him
I think
back.
that's valid. No, but they still leaned on him so
But it all
heavily.
just happened.
Yeah,
too.
you're right.
I mean, think of it as a real world event. Anytime someone big like that died, you start to see their murals on the wall.
I guess we're
and
just
stuff like
used
that.
to it with all of these different movies doing that. But you're 100%.
That is,
right.
absolutely
valid
valid.
point.
I want to pivot slightly. I kind of asked everybody the same question. So first, I want to start off: is Vision, is some aspect of Vision still around?
From the 3 episodes that we watched, I think so, because no matter what, Wanda and Vision were connected. They were both created with the Mind Stone, and then that talk even comes up where Vision asks, "What is me and what is the stone?" Like, so there is always going to be that fact that what created her created him as well. They're equal in that part. They're both very powerful.
I might be wrong.
Jin's back, just so y'all know.
Okay.
Okay.
Why did I think the Tesseract is what they were using with Wanda and Quicksilver instructor?
It was.
It was?
Yeah.
So then how did the Mind
No.
But I mean, they're
no,
all...
they used because they had the scepter. The Mind Stone
Oh,
came from the
yeah,
scepter, and
that's
they
right,
used the
okay.
scepter to create Wanda's powers and her brother's. And then the stone had broken, and they used that stone into what became
Because the
Vision.
Tesseract isn't one of the stones. That's what
No.
I was thinking.
Well, the Tesseract is... The stone's inside
Yes.
the Tesseract.
Thanos
Right.
breaks it and gets it in his gauntlet.
Uh-huh,
So it was
okay.
always the Tesseract's square shape.
It was like a housing
all the way
unit.
up until when Thanos puts it in the gauntlet.
That's right. Okay, that makes sense to me.
The Mind Stone comes from Loki's scepter, which we found out he had gotten from Thanos.
That's
Well,
right.
that's how he can touch you and get you to do what he wants.
Mind control you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
how he was doing it, which brought up my realization when we were watching that, is I said that what if she actually did take over a town, and this is her abilities from that stone,
Yeah.
Also,
making
To
everyone
mold.
think they're actually there, but some
didn't-
breaks happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get this. So no, I don't think any of us got it on any of the. I don't think any of us touched on this. Do you think, is it just me, that her powers seemed more polished? Because like she only did the same thing throughout the MCU, which was physically manipulating something. Like you saw the little red spark stuff, and then something would move telepathically or telekinetically, right? Now she's making things appear, disappear, literally illusions. She's a lot like we covered it. DC's Zendala.
Yeah,
Zatanna, yeah. Like that to me. It's like I feel like she's. If it was in a time frame, this is way after the MCU. She has to be a lot more powerful now, or more in control, I guess.
That could be, and I was at first skeptical because I'm seeing like reality stone powers happening. I mean, it almost does the phase red red view, through around, and so. But I'm like, that's not her powers. But then that's where I get into maybe it could be her, because this is her vision. This is her world that she's creating.
So
through
she's
her
evolving?
mind, and mind's a powerful thing. We know that too. So this is something, in your dreams, kind of not
lucid dreaming and stuff like
lucid
that.
dreaming. You kind of have a little bit of control, but there's also things that you just don't, or you don't. I mean, unless you're very mentally powerful with dreams. But
Dude, so real quick before we wrap this up, and then I'll shut this down. But do you think that Wanda could potentially be the Phase 4 villain? Are we going with Kang or Galactus or something more traditional?
I still think that's in the cards, but I think the stepping stone into Phase, like you were mentioning, for the next Doctor Strange, I think you hit the hammer on the nail there. I couldn't think of the expression, but no, I think you are. I think she could temporarily be the villain because of the loss she went through.
I personally hope they don't, because to me, it would feel like yet another attempt at capturing Dark Phoenix.
Yes, version 4.
I just don't. I hope. To me, I would rather. We haven't really gotten Galactus yet.
Wait, that's the X-Men crap, right? Where she
Yeah.
turned? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Go ahead.
Yeah, very good, Matt.
Hey.
I would love to see Galactus because that would mean we get Fantastic Four, which we would get Namor, we would get the Fantastic Four, Namor bringing the X-Men into the MCU. That is where I want them to go. So Kevin Feige, if you're watching this, bro, do that.
I don't know. I still have my